We begin with breaking news. American financial markets are spiraling. The Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq are having their worst day since September 2022. Polls show a big majority of voters say the economy is bad for them. They feel it. Critics say Vice President Kamala Harris will have to answer for yet another crisis as she tries to convince the nation she can actually fix the border, violent crime, high inflated prices on everything, and now the latest crisis, our stock market is in deep trouble. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Major fears at this hour that we are barreling toward a recession. Here's a big warning sign. Last week's hugely disappointing July jobs report. Let's take a look now. And of course, in the foreground of all of this is what we're dealing with today. In the back rearview mirror, part of how we got here. Just 114,000 jobs added in July. That number is far below what we needed and far below what the Biden-Harris administration estimated of 175,000. Now, they've been boasting about jobs. We'll get into that. But right now, we are almost back where we started with them. This is bad. The unemployment rate also surged to 4.3%. And that rise is raising the specter of the Somme rule, which has accurately forecast every recession since the 1970s. Famed economist Claudia Somme herself is now weighing in.
Somme rule in force at this moment.
It triggered, and if workers don't have paychecks, they can't spend, and then that's the momentum that gets going. So the volume is turned up louder than usual on the Somme rule. So I don't look at this and big picture say we are in a recession, but I look at this and I say we're not in a good, we're not headed in a good direction at all.
So with all the political ads and claims of big money raised on the left, this is on their watch. And Kamala Harris wants to lead the march from the White House. One Republican strategist says VP Harris cannot avoid this topic or her administration's record.
The conditions in the country hasn't changed. They changed out their nominee, but they haven't changed out the inflation. They haven't changed out the economic anxiety that most working families are facing. And that's something she's still going to have to deal with because she's not an independent actor. She didn't land here, 6 weeks ago on a spaceship and said, hey, I'll take over. She's been sitting right next to Joe Biden for the last 4 years.
Well, it's worse than that because Joe Biden for the last 3.5, 4 years has been saying that Kamala Harris is always the last person in the room on all the big decisions that affect America. So she owns it. Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn is at the White House. Hillary, this is a tough spot for American workers to be in today.
Harris, it's a really tough spot, and it doesn't seem like the Harris campaign is interested in turning around the way things are going, the direction that they're going in. This is the worst jobs report that this administration has seen since 2021, the first year that Biden and Harris moved into the White House, backtracking progress that the Harris campaign has been bragging about on the campaign trail to voters. They want to own their economic wins, but they want to blame the economic bad on their predecessor. The Harris campaign spokesperson trying to distract from this poor report, talking about former President Trump's record, saying, quote, Donald Trump failed Americans as president, costing our economy millions of jobs and bringing us to the brink of recession. But we might be on the brink of a recession now under Harris's leadership. Economists at Goldman Sachs think a recession is more likely than it was before, raising the likelihood from 15 to 25% that we will head into a recession. But Democrats are not doubting their policies. They are confident that they need to keep doing what they have been doing.
Is there anything the administration is going to do differently now to work on it?
I mean, it's not a change in course, but it is a continued commitment to the course that we've been on.
Are we in a recession?
We're definitely not in a recession.
But today, Trump's vice presidential pick, Senator J.D. Vance, is calling out Kamala Harris for not showing up today and calming economic fears, posting, quote, "This moment could set off a real economic calamity around the globe. It requires steady leadership, the kind President Trump delivered for 4 years. Kamala Harris is too afraid to answer media questions and cannot lead us in these troubled times." Hashtag where's Kamala. And Harris, it's important to point out that up until this point, the Biden-Harris team had been so confident in how they handled the economy that they named essentially Biden's economic policies Bidenomics. They used his name. It'll be interesting to see if Harris continues to use that phrase Bidenomics on the trail, because it doesn't seem like she's going to offer any new economic policy. She's certainly not going to do a 180.
Well,
Harris?
It's so interesting that you say that, because as time went on before Biden dropped out of the race, even he had stopped using Bidenomics, because they poll tested that just as everybody has, and they know that it wasn't working for them. But she has continued. I haven't seen her recently. Maybe she'll also stop using that word. Great to get the first report from you, Hillary. Thank you very much. New Fox polling shows the economy is by far the most important thing to voters right now in 4 key battleground states: Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, a state in which both candidates, Trump and Kamala Harris, have been spending some time in, mainly Trump at this point, because obviously he's been running longer. And he knows where the problem areas are in the economy and can hit those hard when he's on the ground. We'll see how she can do it. The issue is so important, in fact, it basically doubles their second pick, immigration. So immigration, we know, is huge. The economy now, especially on a day-to-day like today, reigns supreme among voters. Another recent national poll shows only 1 in 4 voters say they feel that our economy is excellent or in good condition. That leaves 75% of American voters, no matter what their party, who are unhappy with the way things currently are in the economy. And when it comes to the presumptive November matchup, a new Wall Street Journal report shows voters trust Trump more to handle the economy, and it's not even close. 12-point difference there. There's no margin of error on the planet where it's even close. All right, let's move forward with Ari Fleischer. He's been inside the White House, Fox News contributor, former White House press secretary. This is a tough day for everybody. And it can be said at this point that we can remember the policies that didn't deliver this, and we were in a pandemic, a coronavirus pandemic, and we didn't see this.
Yeah, Harris, it's not just been a bad day, it's been a bad 3 days. This sell-off began on Thursday last week, and since then the market's dropped 2,000 points. So it's down 1,000 today, but Thursday and Friday added to it. 5% hit, 5% drop in the stock market since Thursday last week. Now, 3 days does not a recession make, but it sure makes you keep your eye on whether or not we're heading into a recession. And if you're the incumbent, which Kamala Harris is, this is perilous. You want stability, you want peace instead of peace and stability. She's got 2 wars around the world, maybe more, and potentially a recession. This is very bad news for any incumbent.
All right. And most importantly, because, I mean, all the candidates and the race and all that aside, this is bad news for American families, for American workers.
Sure.
You take a look at what happens when people they go to the mall, but they don't spend money. That's part of the problem here. And so companies are starting to feel that. I want to get to something that former President Trump posted on his Truth Social just a short time ago this morning. Stock markets are crashing. Job numbers are terrible. We are headed into World War III, and we have 2 of the most incompetent leaders in history. He puts leaders in quotes, as you see. This is not good. Of course, there is a massive market downturn. Kamala is even worse than what he calls Crooked Joe. Markets will never accept the radical left lunatic that destroyed San Francisco and California as a whole. Next move, the Great Depression of 2024. You can't play games with markets. Kamala, crash. Your response?
Yeah, I don't know that we're heading into World War III or the Great Depression, but we are in bad times. And I'm glad to see President Trump focus on that economic message. That is the Democrats' greatest vulnerability. And this has been an issue that has haunted previous presidents. When the economy goes south, when the market tanks, when fear of recession and the psychology of recession kicks in, people start to sit on their money, which creates a cycle that makes a recession more likely. So again, I don't like to panic over these things. We've all been around long enough to know markets go up and markets go down. We've been through previous significant drops in the market only to see them rebound and come back up. We don't know how this one is going to go. But certainly 3 months before an election, it is not good news for the incumbent. It's not good news, as you point out, for America. And it's also something that means Kamala Harris needs to take questions. She needs to let America see how she thinks about this. What does she think? Why isn't this heading toward a recession? What encouraging signs does she see? But she won't take questions. She won't expose the American people to her mind. And that makes you wonder if it's because she's hiding, that she's not capable of showing how she thinks, how she operates in a spontaneous, extemporaneous way. Joe Biden couldn't do it. She won't do it. And that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as critical to hear from her. I know Hillary Vaughn said that, there have been calls for her to speak today on this issue, as it is to have something to report to us that's good that she can do and that she's already begun doing. Because otherwise, it's just more words in a political campaign, and she's only been in it for a few days, but she's owned every piece of what we're living right now. Because as the president says, she's always the last person in the room when the big decisions are made and they affect us. Let's stay with the topic, though, of her record. The VP turned presumptive Democratic nominee is about to announce a vice presidential pick of her own. Could be as early as today. We don't know. Tomorrow, Kamala Harris is set to appear with her running mate, potentially, in Philadelphia. Her calendar has been packed with events just like the one set for tomorrow. Carefully scripted. Critics say that's no way to convince Americans she's ready to be commander-in-chief. Harris has chatted with reporters, but still not done in-depth interviews. Now, this is what Ari is just now telling us on this one topic of the economy, but apparently not on anything. No news conference have we seen from her yet. The pressure for her to face the press is growing. Watch this.
She hasn't answered a single question, not one single question by the media, Ed. She's only had one single unscripted moment Thursday night at Andrews Air Force Base, welcoming those hostages back. And she served up the kind of incomprehensible word salad for which she's become famous. When she has to encounter the media, and I'm sure you're going to insist that she does, Kamala Harris has only been the nominee for 2 weeks and hasn't answered a single question.
Ari.
Yeah, that is a heart of the issue. And the American people deserve to see where this new candidate stands and what she is capable of. But she's trying to run out the clock. And one of the reasons she's trying to run out the clock is because she knows and her staff knows that the American press corps will let her do so. Could you imagine if the White House press corps went into rebellion and demanded, where is she? How come she won't? And if all the stories are only about Harris won't take questions, Harris is hiding, as opposed to what she wants them to cover, that would mean the press corps is taking Donald Trump's side. They'll never do that, Harris. This is why the American media has broken down. It used to be, and it wasn't so long ago, that the press would pressure both parties to do what's right, to do their job for the American people. But the last thing the American press corps will do is put pressure on Kamala Harris if it benefits Donald Trump. So that's why she knows, and her staff knows, that they can get away with this.
Look,
a Republican couldn't get away with it. Are you kidding?
No.
If Trump had to leave the ticket and you put somebody else on, the press would kill that other candidate until they spoke. Harris, it's a free pass.
You know, there's one question today. How did Donald Trump know, and you didn't, Kamala Harris, about the economy? You've been there the entire time. It's your term, along with Biden. Ari Fleischer, you nailed it. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.